Hi, I just want to talk about programming real quick on my road to 32 kilos. Now, there's a million ways to skin a cat, but I just want to show you how I'm attacking this. I could talk about programming all day long, so I'll try to condense it as best as I can to not make it so boring, but I could talk about programming for days. So first things first, we want to establish what we're trying to do and the time frame we're trying to do it in. I want my 24 kilos to move to 32 kilos, and I'm giving myself a year to do it, so that's January 2026 to January 2027. So I have 12 months of programming to do. So I have my starting point, my ending point, and the time frame that I'm doing it in. This allows me to program in the long term and attack things as opposed to just kind of rushing it. I'm not a big fan of rushing programming, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes depending on your goal. This is kind of a jump, so I really want to make sure I elongate it as much as possible. So that's my time frame. That's the goal. That's what I'm trying to do. So this is month 1. So this would be January. I break everything up into a 4-week cycle. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. That's how I like to break things up. So this is my 4-week cycle. So this is my working, and this is going to be my deload. So I'm going to tell you what that's all about. Working sets, I like to make everything about 5 reps. That's the classic strength training module. So everything about 5. It gets me heavy enough, but it also doesn't burn the system out, so I can actually make some strength gains without crushing my central nervous system. So it's 3 to 5 sets at 5 reps for week 1, 2, and 3. I like to, this is at 24 kilos. I'm starting there. I like to week 1 do 3 sets, week 2 do 4 sets, and week 3 do 5 sets. That's just me, but you can kind of do whatever you want. And then on week 4, that's going to be my deload week where I can let my body rest and kind of recover. Now, usually deload in programming is about 50% intensity, 50% of weight, 50% of your sets, any one of those variations, but it's about 50% intensity where you're still working, but you're allowing the body just to kind of like take the breather because you're going to need it. I am actually getting the kettlebells out of my hands. I'm doing barbell work, so I'm going to do some bench press. I'm going to do, some squats. I'm going to kind of do classic barbell work just to, just kind of change up the stimulus and just to get the bells out of my hands. So that way, when I go into my second month, it's kind of fresh and new as opposed to always having the bells and doing bell work. So this would be my first month. We're doing 3 by 5s, 3 sets to 5 sets at 5 reps. And however you want to do it, this is all 24 kilos. I like to do about 5 to 6 exercises per session. I'm doing 4 sessions a week, so I'm giving my time to rest and do all that types of things. But this is how we're kind of doing things. 3 to 5 sets at 5 reps for the first 3 weeks, and then we are deloading the last week to kind of give the body a breather. So we got through our first month. Let's talk about the second month. This would be February or whatever it is you're programming. So I'm still staying in that 3 by 5 sets at 5 reps. So I'm still staying within that rep range, and nothing has changed there. But what is changing right now is 1 to 2 of those working sets, I'm going to start introducing the 28 kilos. So for example, if I'm staying in the 3 sets at 5 reps, the first 2 sets, I'll probably do the 24 kilos. And that third set, I'll probably do the 28 kilos. Right? Just to get it in there. You can reverse it. You can do that first set at 28 kilos because you're fresh. And then the second 2 at 24 kilos to give your body some recovery. It kind of depends on the person. But this is in the second month is where I start introducing the 28 kilos into my working sets. It's not my complete workout at 28 kilos. I'm still using the 24 kilos a majority of the things that I'm doing, but I'm starting to introduce those 28 kilos to kind of get that stimulus in there. I don't want to shock it too badly, but I just want to let it know that these 28 kilos are coming. Once again, my 4th week is that deload week. I'm getting the bells out of my hands. Really, I'm just doing my barbell work. I'm doing, lat pull downs. I'm doing classic bodybuilding grunt work just to get the bells out of my hands and to change the stimulus. This, once again, is 4 sessions a week. This I'll probably do 3 or 4 sessions depending on what I want to do on my deload week and how my body's feeling. But all major muscle groups, nothing frilly. But in the second month, that's where I start introducing the 1 to 2 sets at 28 kilos, 3 to 5 sets depending on what I want to do. If you want to do the first week at 3 sets, 4 sets, 5 sets, and do that, It's really kind of, whatever you're comfortable with, but I like that wiggle room because I want to intuitively feel what my body's feeling and not force it to do anything it doesn't really want to do and still get some good working sets in there. So this would be the second month on how I would start introducing the 28 kilos to get into that third month. So we went through our first 2 months. The first month is that kind of foundational month. The second month is where I'm starting to introduce some heavier kettlebells. Now we're in the third month. Everything's going to be at 28 kilos. Once again, I'll probably do in that first week 3 sets, 4 sets, 5 sets, because I just don't want to crush my body right out of the gate. I want it to build as we go and just kind of keep that wiggle room for me. But the third month is where I start introducing the 28 kilos. So the third month is essentially that first month where I just work 24 kilos the whole way through, and I'm introducing the 28 kilos. So I'm doing little things like that. It gives me the wiggle room. I can elongate it. If I want to do, after that second month, if I want to do another 24 kilos with 28 kilos in there, that's fine. It just gives me that wiggle room. I got more than enough time to do it in that 1 year time frame. Regardless of how I do it, by the time I get into January 27, 32 kilos will be pretty much my standard on what I'm doing everything if I got everything programmed in there correctly. So in the third month, you could do everything at 28 kilos, or you can reverse it, which would be like 2 or 3 sets at 28 kilos, and then do another set at 24 kilos just so your body's not crushed. You can kind of mix and play with it. That's probably how I'll attack it. That's kind of how I have it written down. But 28 kilos is going to be mostly my work with the 24 kilos on the back end. And then from there, you just kind of keep on building after that. Once again, my deload is just classic grunt bodybuilding work. I just like doing that stuff. So I just want to introduce it there just to get the bells out of my hands, to save my hands, because I'm doing a lot of kettlebell cleans and presses and snatches. So I just kind of want to save my hands so I can elongate my training. Other than that, that's kind of how I'm attacking this thing. It's a good program to kind of give you that template so you can kind of cut and paste a little bit, but it gives you enough flexibility in order to make sure that you're reading your system and you're not so stuck in stone about everything. I have a long time frame where I can add an extra month if I need to, if I'm not feeling good at the 28 kilos, because I don't want to hit the 32 kilos too hard too soon. So usually by the end of the year, I want to get towards the 32 kilos. So probably about October, that'll be mostly what I'm doing at the 32 kilos. But this is kind of the game plan on how you can do things, and you can elongate that out as much as you want. If you want another month at 24 kilos, so January, February, that's fine too. Really, you're just kind of feeling your body out, but that's the basic overview on how I'm doing things from January until January to get to 24 to 32 kilos.